Hey, welcome to this.
It's Summon Greater Podcast.
A podcast about homebrew and homies.
Yeah.
And this week we don't have a homie, but we don't have homebrew either.
What are we?
We're continuing a little bit from the last episode talking about the system formerly known as 1D&D.
I'm calling it D&D 24
Yeah.
because it's the D&D that's coming out in 2024, and it's apparently still 5th edition, and they're not really designating it as anything.
I hope to God they give it a name or just call it 6th at the end of the day.
I mean, they're not gonna call it 6th because
stupid. They're pulling a 2011 Nintendo in which they were unveiling a big, beautiful new system at E3 and arguably killed it at the outset by calling it the fucking Wii U.
Well, that or the new 3DS.
The new D&D. That is what we're doing.
The new 5th edition.
It is that caliber of a misguided decision.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
I mean, I can understand why they're not going with 6th edition because the editions are not necessarily meant to be compatible. Like 3.5.
But these aren't compatible either.
Kinda.
Not really.
Well, the basics, the core like mechanics of how you roll, what you roll for are kind of staying the same. Like they're not changing any of the direct math involved. Like 3.5, you had way too much math and too many rolls.
Okay, but did you hear what you just said? You said 0.5. Why can't this at the very least be 5.5?
You're right.
Now, I don't think 3.5 was the official name of what that was at the time. I think that is something we have named it after the fact, if I'm correct.
No, it was actually just D&D 3.5.
Was it sold as 3.5?
Yeah.
Then fuck it, man. Give us call it 5.5.
That actually would be
sell it to us
ideal.
as that. I
That'd be
would
nice.
be elated. It has been 14 years since 5 came out. We're good. We can handle
10.
it.
10 years.
Okay, 10.
5th edition was 2024.
I was thinking
2014.
I said 14 because 2014.
Right. Yeah. No, but like part of their whole shtick has been what's different between 2014 and now, and I'm like, everything.
A lot.
Everything
a
is
huge
different.
amount, in fact.
I think this is about exactly how we opened up the last episode.
Probably.
Talking about.
Well, listen, we're going to be mad about this until they
Just give it a name.
give us something real, something tangible.
Yeah.
And then if it's bad, we'll continue to be mad about it.
That being said, there's a lot of stuff that so far doesn't actually look bad. A lot of stuff looks kind of cool.
One of those things is Rogue.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I want to start doing this segment that we started last episode off the top of the episode. I'm talking about our music segment that we did in episode 40. We are going to call this Summon Greater Soundtrack.
Yeah, baby.
The premise, if you missed it last time, is I like to do this thing where I listen to songs either in my normal listening or video game soundtracks that I specifically plan on using for D&D in such a way that I listen to them over and over, imagining what type of D&D scenario would be best fit for the track. So that is what I have done again. I'm still on the betrayal train from last episode. And on that line, I have chosen a song by a Ukrainian artist called Rez, who I got to see in concert a few years ago. She's fantastic.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a rave. Really, it was fantastic.
That's
I love her sound so much, and a lot of DJs put a ton of work into their visuals, and she was no exception.
Hell yeah.
She puts on a very, very fantastic show. One of her most popular songs is called Someone Else. It's a song about cheating, which, what is that if not an incredible type of betrayal, right? Yeah. But I also figured that a lot of cheating songs could be used in somewhat diverse betrayal scenarios, especially, as you come across them in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Another thing I really love to do when I am planning songs for situations in my campaigns is find another version of it. And that's what I've done here. I have grabbed both the original Someone Else by Rez and the Under Oath remix, with the intention in mind that you might use the Under Oath remix after you have established a betrayer character with the original version, and then bring them back for sort of a final encounter.
Yeah, like the climax of an arc kind of a thing. And then you can use that remix as the like heightened encounter. So
if you want to hear what I'm talking about, I will put both of those songs in the description, as well as the one that Skylar is about to talk about here.
Yeah, so the one that I pulled up is the song is called Cover Me. It's by a band called Black Math. It's a South African band. I'm still learning about them, but I love them so much already. The song Cover Me is just a beautiful, beautiful piece. And it's kind of hard to say what specifically it's about aside from death, losing someone. The lyrics are heart-wrenching, and the song itself is gorgeous, and it kind of has its own built-in climax. The moment that I envisioned for this one, Sam was sticking with his betrayal theme. For me, this song felt like a very pivotal moment of loss, either for a PC or an NPC. What specifically popped into my head was an NPC about to become an enemy.
Oh.
Yeah. Where they were in love with or had some kind of connection, very, very deep connection to someone that maybe they didn't realize was an enemy of the party, or maybe they knew and they were trying to figure out a way to just separate and just say, we'll go our way, you go yours, just leave my person alone. Whatever it was didn't work. Party wound up killing them, and this person found out. And the song, the lyrics are just so good because it's like the living person speaking to the dead person and kind of begging for them to come back and take care of them, and they will take care of them in return. And the way I envisioned it was that moment of someone becoming a warlock, reaching out and just saying anything, anyone that can hear me and that can help me, please do. And getting that like surge of power.
I like
and
that
person, like it. I imagine it like in the Suicide Squad movie where the hand kind of reaches out with Enchantress.
Okay.
And like grabs and flips, and then it's all of a sudden like.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that you're bringing it around to that, because my interpretation was very much a call out to a patron. Now, my thought originally was not being able to hear your previously established patron, or like they've left you or something. But I like this concept a lot of reaching out to something completely unknown.
Yeah, especially from the concept of like you don't even realize you're reaching out to someone. You're just trying to get your beloved back. And then all of a sudden someone is there. And they're like, I can give this to you. I can help you. I can whatever.
Very, very cool. Good stuff, man. All these, of course, are going to be listed in the Summon Greater soundtrack playlist.
We're going to make a playlist, y'all.
It's linked in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time to talk about Rogue.
Rogues.
Shit's happening, man.
It is. It is so very happening.
And I'm glad it is, because I'd love to see Rogue get a little bit of love.
I mean, it still very much leans into the emo boy kind of aesthetic and the kind of stereotypes and everything.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more utility now in this new version of Rogue than there was in the original 5th edition. Yeah, we'll go through it. I have some other things that I'm going to add on to that as we go, but we'll go through it from the start. And
let's talk about this weapon mastery mechanic here. You choose 2 weapons you're proficient with and gain use of their mastery properties, that's new to this new rule set, isn't it? Mastery properties? Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
I think we've gone over those at some point.
Yeah,
on the podcast.
I know we have.
We definitely have. Maybe we'll figure out when.
Weapon mastery here. There's an article. Hold on.
But the most interesting part of this is that you can change your chosen weapons each long rest.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think that is a little crazy.
That is being able to choose 2 weapons every day to just get the mastery property up is kind of bananas.
I personally don't know if it makes much sense.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, this would be broken on like Fighter or something like that. As a rogue, you kind of have a small selection of weapons you're leaning towards anyway. But I did find the weapon mastery property for daggers, which is Nick. To explain the Nick property, we should briefly cover that being able to attack twice while dual wielding light weapons has subtly changed. Instead of being covered under melee attacks, the rules for dual wielding light weapons are covered under the light weapon property. Not sure what that means. It still functions the same way. When you make an attack with a weapon that has the light property, you can use a bonus action to make one attack with a different light weapon you're wielding. The Nick Mastery property allows you to make the additional attack you receive from wielding 2 light weapons as part of the initial attack action. Okay. So you get 2 attacks per action.
With light weapons.
With light weapons. Keep in mind that this does not mean that you can make a 3rd attack as a bonus action. That's a good clarification. As the light property specifies, you only get 1 extra attack. But while it might not pump up your damage, this frees up your bonus action to use class/special abilities such as the Rogue's Cunning action, which while still getting an additional attack in. That's really good. It basically just means where previously you would have had to use your bonus action to get that secondary attack. Now you don't. You can still use your bonus action to dash, bonus action disengage, bonus action hide, whatever it is.
I think this makes a lot of sense for dual wielding light weapons.
I do too. It was something that really frustrated me with the current D&D iteration. I did not enjoy the fact that you would have to use your action and bonus action.
Yeah. Consuming your bonus action with that is a little bit much. This would be really great for my character Bori, because though he doesn't use them often, he's got a couple of daggers. One of them is oh shit, what is that thing called? It's the one that prevents you from healing.
Weapon of Certain Death.
Yes. Yeah.
Those are good. It
would be so nice to, do the pop with those, and then Misty Step away.
Oh God, yeah. Right? Especially with segue, the new spellcasting rules that I mentioned. Yeah. I don't think I have them written down. But basically, the way the new rule for spellcasting is worded, you may not cast more than 1 spell on your turn using a spell slot. Notably, what that excludes is granted spells from like feats and abilities and things. Like you were saying, Misty Step Away, if you have the Fey touched feat. Shadow touched is invisibility. If you have the Fey touched feat that lets you cast Misty Step once per long rest without using a spell slot, you're not using a spell slot. You can just cast it. Imagine using like a 5th level fireball and then misty stepping.
Yeah.
But so that's the weapon mastery part of it.
Yes. Thieves' Cant is going to grant you an additional language. I think it did that before.
It
No?
just gave you the
That's
ability to communicate in Thieves' Cant.
Jesus Christ. Okay, that gives you a new language. Knock yourself out, man. What are you using that for?
Thieves' Cant?
I mean the additional language. Like, is there something like in character with the rogue that you think that is best used for?
I would say for deception, forgery, something like that.
You're so right.
You know another language. You can try to pass yourself off as like a tiefling or an elf or something like. Say you're a human rogue. You can pass yourself off as another race, with the use of like a disguised self spell cast by someone else in your party, whatever. More languages is more fun, specifically for roleplay.
Yeah,
it doesn't really have a huge impact on combat mechanics, but I'm really glad that they gave this to rogues because more languages is just always fun.
It's just open doors in your camp. Holy shit! It opens doors in your campaigns.
Yeah, it really does. There are a handful of subclasses that are going to be in the new player's handbook: Arcane Trickster, Assassin, Soul Knife, and Thief. Arcane Trickster has a couple adjusted abilities, it looks like. We don't have full details on it yet. When you level up with Arcane Trickster, you can swap out a cantrip. And there's a new use of Sneak Attack. That was, wow, that just disappeared from my brain. Yeah, Versatile Trickster, when you use your Sneak Attack, we'll go into why this is a big deal and what else this is attributed to soon. But Versatile Trickster allows you to trip your enemies when you have Sneak Attack against them. It's just nice.
Of the damage, by the way.
It takes away a portion of the damage. It still does do some damage.
Okay. Not the extra damage, though. Right?
I think it just takes away a chunk of the Sneak Attack damage.
Okay.
I don't think it fully replaces the Sneak Attack damage.
That ain't bad, man. And getting prone off the Sneak Attack is quite cool.
Yeah.
I like the swapping out a cantrip thing quite a lot.
Yeah.
I wish you could do that by more means. It seems a little much that that's so inaccessible by default, you know?
Yeah. That's the one bummer about some spellcasting classes and subclasses. You make the one choice and then you don't really get to go back on it.
Yeah.
Ever. You don't really get to adjust. Which some of them it makes sense for thematically, but mechanically, kind of a bummer.
Yeah. By those lines, I understand why, for Rogue at least, you know, not a full caster and by any means, it is just on level up. But it'd be nice if, like, you know, Wizard could do that on a long rest.
I feel like they can.
I don't think they can.
Tasha's Cauldron from Everything.
Oh, Tasha's did do that. Holy God.
That makes so much sense.
This is why we love Tasha's,
if you're thinking about getting a D&D book,
get
of
one.
any kind, I would recommend Tasha's Cauldron of Everything over the Monster Manual.
I get it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're looking to supplement your source books just beyond, you know, the basic 3, right? You get Tasha's.
Yeah.
Because if there ever was a 0.5 to 5e, Tasha's is kind of it.
Yeah. I mean, it contains about 50 to 60% of all of the changes that were made in this D&D 2024 system. Almost, I'd say at least half of, if not almost all of them, either came directly from or were heavily influenced by Tasha's.
Mm-hmm. I love that book so much. It's also just got a lot of really cool items and shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know?
And speaking of Tasha's, the level 3 rogue ability is moving on from subclasses because we'll get more details on that later. The other level 3 ability that you get is directly from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, Steady Aim. When you do not, I believe it's if you don't move at all, or if you move less than half of your movement speed on your turn, on your next attack, you get you can use your bonus action to gain advantage on your next attack, which fits perfectly for rogues.
Yeah.
And it's incredible for sharpshooters.
Was that previously just part of a subclass before?
No, that wasn't really part of anything.
Okay. I seem to be remembering some kind of ability that was dependent on staying still. It's something that we covered, but it is escaping me. You know what I mean?
It might be. Yeah.
I like this, though. This makes sense. Rogue should be able to do this. Rogue spends so much time moving around and, a lot of aiming on the fly as a result, that it would make sense that if they gave themselves just a fucking second, they would be a little bit more accurate. So I like that. I like it being advantage. That's really, really good.
Mm-hmm. And then the big sneak attack change we're talking about is it has been renamed to Cunning Strike. You can trade some of your sneak attack damage for, at base, one of 3 different effects: poison, trip, or withdraw. Okay, interesting that there's trip on here and in the Arcane Trickster subclass. We'll find out what specifically Versatile Trickster means later. But anyway, Cunning Strike options: poison, trip, and withdraw. Each of these only cost 1d6, by the way. You cannot, as far as I know, you cannot activate more than one of them on each use of sneak attack. However, it only takes off 1d6 of that sneak attack damage, which is wild. Why would you ever not use one of these? Poison. Put your poisoner's kit to good use. With this option, your target must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or be poisoned for 1 minute. They can repeat the save at the end of each of their turns. The poison condition grants disadvantage on, I think it's attacks and skill checks.
Yeah. If Erin's listening, she's thinking exactly what I'm thinking, which is my character Minoth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, granted, I don't know that I'll do a multi-class like this because this comes in at level 5 in Rogue.
Yeah, you'd have to really
and that's a lot. But my character Minoth in Erin's campaign is an alchemist artificer with the poisoner feat. Really fun build. Something like this would be kind of cool with that, I think.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, a rogue artificer sub multi-class would be so much fun to explore.
I think that is a lot of fun. That's a good concept. Trip, like we talked about earlier, you knock him prone at the cost of a d6. Yep. Good to know that it is just a d6. That is like still so much damage that you're doing.
Yeah. And Trip obviously requires a dexterity saving throw, but I mean,
also has to be large or smaller, of course.
Yeah. It's still just so good.
Yeah, but again, you are not locked into one of these options.
Right.
You can choose any of them, which is very powerful.
Or none of them if you just really want that extra d6 of damage.
Just take the damage.
And the other one is Withdraw. Same cost, 1d6. It lets you move up to half of your speed without provoking attacks of opportunity after you attack.
That's kind of correct, man.
That's insane, because then that still leaves you with your bonus action.
Yep.
You just get bonus action disengage for free.
And it's our favorite thing. Positional advantage, brother. Holy shit.
Positioning.
Hey, what does Reliable Talent do? I forgot.
Reliable Talent is, in this new one, it is now level 7 ability for Rogue.
They moved it down from 11.
Yeah, it used to be at level 11. This is going to make rogues jump in popularity for multi-class. Reliable talent is the one that means if you have proficiency in a skill, you cannot roll below 10.
Jesus. Ooh, level 7, man.
Level 7.
That's really strong. That's really strong for a level 7 character.
Notably, it is below 10. Below level 10, which means you can get 10th level abilities from the other class you would like to multi-class into.
Yeah.
Because level 10 usually has the first facet of like the ultimate ability of the class.
There is so much combo potential with this.
You know how we were talking about with the Cunning Strike thing? Well, you can only use one of them at a time. Level 11, instead of getting reliable talent, they changed that. You get improved Cunning Strike, which take a wild guess at what that gives you.
Some crazy effects.
You get to use 2 Cunning Strike options instead of 1.
The rogue is doing a lot. The rogue is working overtime, man.
You can trip somebody and then run away.
Mm-hmm.
As part of your action, as part of your attack, as part of stabbing them. Rogues have suddenly become combat maestros.
Mm-hmm. They control a lot of flow like this.
Mm-hmm. And they can set up for other party members really, really well, while also doing stupid amounts of damage.
Hey, I've been wondering for a while if we're doing sneak attack wrong, by the way.
How so?
We do it in such a way that you could do it to an enemy that simply isn't facing you. Like you can walk up behind someone that's engaged in combat with another party member and do a sneak attack. Is that correct?
Yes, because of flanking.
Does flanking allow for a straight up sneak attack like that, though?
It does, because it gives you advantage on the attack. The only requirement for sneak attack is that you had advantage on the attack.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Jesus. Okay.
Because there are a lot of other things that say, there are a few other abilities you can get that say you gain an additional use of sneak attack where you don't necessarily have to have advantage as long as you don't have disadvantage and it meets one of these other criteria.
Yeah. Okay. See, I thought it was just like a house rule that I was letting slide because I like it for a long time, because sneak attack by itself is just busted.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an incredible amount of damage. You're so lucky to have a rogue on your team whenever you do.
You know what else is busted? Sneak attack is only once per turn.
Yeah.
You can also trigger sneak attack on other people's turns.
How?
Attack of opportunity if you have advantage on it.
No way. Wow.
That situation does not happen very often.
No, I've not seen that come into play ever. Wow. Maybe the DM just never thought of it if it did happen. But shit, man.
That situation doesn't come up very often, but, you know, that's a thing you can do.
Yeah.
Rogues, man. That has been a catchphrase in many a campaign.
Fucking rogues, man.
Rogues, man.
Fucking Dej, man.
This fucking guy.
Hey, we're actually not done talking about cunning strikes at all, because at level 14 you get devious strikes, which adds more effects to your cunning strike.
What the? All right. Whoever it was at Wizards, Jeremy Crawford, was this you? Did you do this? Were you smoking a lot? This is at the beginning of this. I was like, "Wow, this is amazing. Rogues have more options," and now I'm scared.
Yeah.
Rogues have too many options, guys.
Uh-huh. Now, granted, these do come at some higher costs, which we'll highlight. But
oh shit, they do.
It's fine. Don't care. Days cost of only 2d6. Who says a support build can also deal damage? If your target fails a Constitution saving throw, they'll only get to move or take an action or bonus action on their next turn.
What?
Frustrating for Dungeon Masters, but fantastic for your party, of course. Isn't that stupid?
That's bullshit.
We were just talking about how insane it is that even just with the first
initial
buff,
cunning strikes.
Yeah, the first buff we were talking about at level 5 to cunning strikes, you get so much more control over the battlefield. That just that skyrockets at 14. After already making an incredible leap with the improved Cunning Strike.
You know what else I just thought of?
What?
In the last episode, we talked about a change made to a feat, specifically the alert feat. It changed so that it no longer has the text that you cannot be surprised. That feat was the only thing protecting Dungeon Masters from the new rogue.
Wasn't it? Jesus.
And now it's gone.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Now, granted, you can throw a stupid-ass rogue at your players, and fuck you if you do. You're kind of a nasty person. If you do that.
I would never.
Okay.
Aside from dazing your opponent, you can also use your Cunning Strike to knock out your opponent.
You can conk them, man.
This one, higher penalty, I will say. It costs 6d6 of your sneak attack damage. Bonk an enemy on the head, render them unconscious for 1 minute if they fail a Constitution saving throw. They'll repeat the saving throw at the end of each of their turns, but chances are, when they wake up, you'll have already stolen whatever it is you needed and bounced.
Yep.
Oh, man. You knock someone unconscious. I'm pretty sure, unless the rules have changed or will change, I'm pretty sure melee attacking an unconscious victim. I will say victim at this point because they are no longer an enemy. You are having your way with them.
Yeah.
Melee attacking an unconscious victim is an automatic critical hit.
It's not surprising to see this here.
No, it makes sense. It's just rogues enabling rogues, enabling themselves, enabling rogues.
If you're listen, if your save DC is good, then God rest the soul of your DM, you know?
Right. And that's the thing is we don't know based on this what the save DC is going to be based on.
Yeah.
How that's going to be determined. I would hope that it's not crazy high, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, if it's not insanely high, this is pretty well balanced out by costing 66.
Yeah.
Because going for this is a little crazy.
Right. And I mean, you're kind of using up all of your sneak attack to do it. Like you're just saying, okay, I'm not going to actually deal any additional damage. I'm going to get the base attack damage and then I'm going to knock you on your ass.
Yeah. Yeah. You should be going for this if you know it's going to work out or as a Hail Mary.
Right. Because that's the thing. You forfeit the damage and they might make the saving throw. And you might have just forfeited the damage for nothing. All in all, it's balanced, but it's still crazy strong.
Yeah. Yep. Last option to get here is Obscure. Costs you 3d6. With this Cunning Strike option, your target will need to make a Dex save throw or be blinded until the end of its next turn.
Oh man,
you're pulling a bandana over someone's eyes. You know,
dude. Imagine if you used Obscure and Daze in the same.
Oh, because you can do that.
Yeah, you can use two. You can still just use two.
I mean, geez, dude.
You're blind, and also you can only take an action or bonus action or move.
That's very funny. It's really, really funny.
Dazed and confused.
Oh my god, this is some powerful stuff, dude.
One mild downside is that with this update to Rogue, the Devious Strikes, that was level 14. There used to be a level 14 ability known as Blind Sense that would allow you to see or detect anything invisible within 10 feet of you. That is gone. No more Blind Sense. Oh well.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of those where it's like, oh no. Anyway.
I hope that this has made it into a subclass.
Blind Sense?
Yes.
That'd be really cool.
Because I think there are places in Rogue where it's appropriate.
Yeah, and I think if it's not gonna be in a subclass in any of the rule books, it's gonna be in homebrew subclasses.
For sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'll show up somewhere.
Yeah.
I do hope it shows up in official material. This has always to me kind of been part of the Rogue identity, and I get the idea of transitioning Rogue into something that is more of an offensive tactician.
Yeah.
Sense as to the reasoning for removing this.
Yeah. The only thing I think I'm concerned about right now with Rogue is that it's kind of stepping on the toes of Battlemaster Fighter.
I see where you're coming from, but I will argue that that is a subclass, and you are going to see that pop up far less often than Rogue in general.
Yeah, you're right. But I think that the existence of the new Rogue is going to mean that the Battlemaster Fighter subclass is going to pop up even less often because it's less needed. It's less useful.
I see where you're coming from.
Because a lot of the stuff that you can do as a Battlemaster Fighter, they just said, oh, Rogues can do that now too. And you also still get a subclass.
Mm-hmm. That is fair. I see what you're getting at.
But I mean, I know there are Battlemaster Fighter stands out there, and I respect you and I love you. It's an awesome, super fun subclass. Please keep playing it.
We also have yet to look at the changes to Fighter itself. Bear in mind.
That is a fantastic point.
That really could redeem it in the long run.
It very well might. And speaking of things we have not quite finished looking at, we have a couple more things here at the very tail end of Rogue. Level 15, super quick one. You gain the ability Slippery Mind. It used to give you proficiency in, I think it was just Wisdom saving throws. Now it gives you proficiency in Wisdom and Charisma saving throws. Jamie is pulling that up as we speak.
Sure am. You are correct. It was just Wisdom before.
Okay, cool. Got it. So yeah, now you get proficiency in Wisdom and Charisma saving throws, which makes Rogues just a proficiency factory.
Mm-hmm.
You're proficient in everything. The only thing you're missing is Jack of all trades from Bard. Very easy, multi-class.
Yeah.
You just, yeah.
This is good. It makes a lot of sense for Rogue, especially, with the reputation that they tend to have often.
Yeah. Greedy, sticky-fingered, untouchable bastards.
Yeah. This Charisma should absolutely be added to that. I think that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, for sure.
It's time to talk about epic boons again.
Oh, God.
I think this is going to be just one of our favorite things to talk about with every one of the classes.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're so fun. The recommended boon for Rogue is Boon of the Night Spirit. You increase an ability score. Yeah, isn't it? You increase an ability score by 1 up to a maximum of 30. We'll remind you that epic boons only allow you to increase your ability scores above 20. While in dim light or darkness, you have resistance to all damage except psychic and radiant. And as bonus action, you can gain the invisible condition. The despair in your eyes.
To quote my favorite Bible verse, Jesus wept.
Oh.
What?
I really wasn't sure which one he was going to invoke. Oh my gosh. Why are you getting all that resistance, man?
That is insane. Oh my God. You know what I want to do now? I want to build an entire party based around dim light and darkness. Way of Shadow Monk, rogue,
Sorcerer.
Twilight cleric,
Shadow sorcerer.
shadow sorcerer.
There's a lot to work from.
It's like building a rain team in Pokemon. There's just so much.
It's exactly like building a rain. You're so right.
That is... While you are in dim light or darkness, you have resistance to all damage except psychic and radiant. A level 19 rogue becomes a barbarian. That's just it. You just become a barbarian.
I would like to pose a very, very funny thought to you. Does magical darkness count for this? I should think.
Yeah, it does.
That's funny. You just rush into the darkness cast by your sorcerer.
Yeah. Well, in the Twilight Cleric, Channel Divinity creates a sphere of dim light around the cleric. You just stay in range.
Jesus.
Bro.
Yeah. Like someone casts darkness, you run in and it just acts as like an aura, basically.
Especially if you have like an item or something that allows you to see through magical darkness.
That'd be so funny.
You just go in and
you're
you just become
an
the
insane
assassin.
person in that. That's a stupid build.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Oh my god.
There's an item too. Oh fuck! Now I'm gonna have to pull it up. I know.
Gaining the invisible condition on top of all of those resistances is so much. This is doing an unbelievable... I mean, it's an epic boon, you know? Like, of course, this is happening as part of an epic boon and at level 19.
The Nightfall Pearl. It is a legendary wondrous item that requires attunement. Used to summon night. You can spend 10 minutes to activate it, causing the area within 10 miles of it at the moment of activation to become night, even if it is daytime. This effect lasts for 24 hours until you cancel it as an action or until your attunement to the pearl ends. Once used, the pearl can't be used again for 24 hours.
So min-maxers and party optimizers rejoice. This is your class.
Yeah. You can have somebody who doesn't require a ton of attunement items, give them the Nightfall Pearl, and be like, okay, we're going into battle. I need your strongest nighttime.
I need your strongest ball.
You activate the Nightfall Pearl, it becomes night, you have 24 hours of dim light or darkness.
That's a long time.
That is batshit. And we didn't even talk about the secondary effect of it, that you just as a bonus action, you can just fucking turn invisible.
I was saying that while you were looking it up. That's
okay.
Like an insane thing to just throw on to the end after gaining all of those resistances.
Right. And especially after the entire first half of the class being solely dedicated to freeing up your bonus action.
Yep. Oh, I didn't even think of that synergy. That's really, really nuts.
That is
you're
crazy.
Popping that and then you're using both of your daggers. Ew, man.
Good thing to note, these epic boons, this is the one that's recommended for Rogue for very good reason, but it doesn't mean that other classes can also take Boon of the Night Spirit.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
Yeah.
These epic boons are going to be fucking insane. The new Rogue level 20 ability, Stroke of Luck, it was basically, originally, it was you could take an attack roll that you missed and turn it into a 20. Maybe you had to activate it before you found out that you missed. Jamie, pull it up.
Okay, previously, at 20th level, you have an Uncanny Knack for succeeding when you need to. If your attack misses a target within range, you can turn the miss into a hit. Alternatively, if you fail an ability check, you can treat the D20 roll as a 20.
Okay, so that's the distinction. Gotcha. New rules, you can now use Stroke of Luck on saving throws. When you fail a D20 check, it turns your roll into a 20. That's just in general, meaning that previously where it said if you missed, you can turn it into a hit. Now, if you missed, you can turn it into a crit. Which is wild.
Really good buff. Rogues are eating. Can you really be upset about losing blind sense? I think not.
No, absolutely not. If you complain about blind sense, then you have something wrong with you.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, and stroke of luck fucking recharges on short rests, dude. Yep. Yep.
This is the type of stuff that makes me excited for the future of the game.
Yeah.
There are many people who see change coming to their favorite TTRPG and freak out. And I get it because, it's Wizards and Hasbro and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But for the love of God, pick and choose. Fuck it. It's fine. You absolutely can do that.
I mean, that was my whole point of my little mini rampage last time about how I might be switching to paper. Mm-hmm. Because I want to pick and choose. I want to have a library full of books and binders full of PDFs printed from homebrew sources or partnered materials, whatever. I want to have my Kobold Press stuff. I want to have all of my Critical Role stuff. And I want to be able to go, that rule from this book, this rule from that book. And there we go.
Yeah. The next, I'll tell you what, the next open source tool that there's a market for right now in D&D, I think is just a good way to organize all of your personalized rules, because everybody's running some kind of home.
Oh, right yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it would be wonderful to have a companion app or something for your players to be able to keep all of it straight.
Yeah, kind of like a draft up your own rule book kind of a thing.
Sort of.
Yeah, it'd be so nice. Because obviously D&D Beyond does not have that, but man, it would be so cool if it could be integrated, specifically because D&D Beyond has campaign tabs. Mm-hmm. And you could specify rules to each campaign. That's Rogue. There's a lot more. There is a ton more of this. We're not really going to be able to hit all of it because we're going to spend like episodes worth of time talking about one thing.
Yeah. That's why we prepared ourselves to just be talking about Rogue for this entire episode.
Literally. You guys will have to let us know which ones, like other classes or aspects of D&D 24 that you specifically really want to hear about, so that we can plan to give the people what they want. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it'll just be us two dudes sitting up here talking at each other.
Was there anything more to talk about with spellcasting, or did we kind of cover all that?
That was kind of really it. Okay. Was this just the change that you can now... The wording of it allows you to cast spells that don't require a spell slot in addition to a spell slot spell in your turn. And try saying that 3 times fast. Yeah, I'm not gonna, but
here's a little bit of a call to action for you. I think we're due to talk about dragons sometime soon.
Yeah,
in like a mechanical capacity, and just the breadth that is offered by a certain book that we have in mind and that you own.
I do indeed.
And also some homebrew type shit, in conjunction with a little
You got this.
Yeah. A little source book, pack of source books even, called The Monsters Know What They're Doing.
Ooh, yeah.
We're going to cover that at some point. But in the meantime, I want you to send in some dragons, either homebrew or just like, third-party type stuff that you really, really like, because we're probably going to do a dedicated episode.
I'm shocked that we haven't yet about the book specifically.
Wow, we haven't done that, have we?
No, we've not had a dedicated episode about that book, and I've had it since before.
It really deserves one. Yeah, you have had that a very long time, and I'm shocked that you haven't used it.
That you know of.
That's right. You probably have actually. We just didn't have to fight that fucker yet.
Yeah, that definitely is a dragon from the book.
All right. Yeah. That should have been obvious.
Spoiler alert for next episode, though. Uh-huh. I get to talk about one of my stupid little special interests. We're talking about Naruto again.
We're talking about Naruto again, baby.
Yeah, buddy. Specifically because I really, really, really wanted to do my own little homage to my favorite anime. And I know there are D&D supplements based around Naruto, and there's an entire system based around Naruto, but I really wanted to bring it into the system currently being played. So I took a lot of the special names and far more specific aspects of the ninja
way.
out of it, and I made it a little more 5th edition. I have a class. I have a whole class.
He's got a class. I think you've distilled the concepts that you've explained to me, because I haven't watched it myself, in a very careful and well-planned manner.
I'm extremely happy to hear that, because I spent a lot of time on it, and the biggest thing I was worried about was that it would be unbalanced as fuck and overpowered and whatever.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think this is going to be one of the coolest and most optimized pieces of homebrew that we've showcased on a podcast. That
is a huge compliment. Thank you very
You're
much.
Welcome, man. So keep a lookout for that in the next episode.
Heck yeah.
That said, along with all the dragon shit I was talking about earlier, be sure to send us your homebrew, summongreaterpod at gmail.com, and at summongreater on Twitter.
Yes, sir.
Follow us on our socials. And hey, man, we'll see you next time. Oh, also, that's what I was forgetting. Summon Greater soundtrack.
Summon Greater soundtrack.
Follow the playlist on Spotify and send us songs that you recommend we throw in there, because we always take music racks. That is one of the easiest things you can send in.
Yeah.
Especially our friends. I'm looking at you. Send us songs that you've been thinking with the specific D&D scenarios, because I know that you're crazy nerds and you've been doing that like all the time.
I mean, music has been a huge part of how we create characters and campaigns in general. So being able to now kind of share those with you guys is a huge deal for us.
It's a big part of the most memorable parts of our campaigns, personally, too.
Absolutely. So. But all that being said, don't forget to interact with the videos. If you're on YouTube, please like and comment and share it with your friends. We want to connect with more people, and we want to get more of our Summon Greater audience.
We want to summon a greater audience.
Yes.
Hey, thank you so much for watching to the end.
Jump on in the comments, do stuff, do things. Thanks for being here. We love you.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.